Hi, my friends and family. Today I have a talk for you called The Narcissist Player Character Secretly Wants to Minimize or even Eliminate Your Real Self. See what I mean? The narcissist player character secretly wants to minimize or even eliminate your real self. And what do I mean by that? They want to eliminate your real self by giving you constant drama or bad advice, violence or psychological tethering known as trauma bond, Stockholm syndrome, or even smothering or pampering. Some extreme will manifest. So peaceful it will never get. So tragically, I'm glad I got stuck in Gulfport. I was considering staying here for 2 weeks anyway. I like Gulfport. But I reserved some rooms. I thought I was going to be able to figure it out, how to make a visit to the old home place, but no. So stuck in Gulfport, Mississippi another week. I chose to chill in the eye of the so-called hurricane headquarters in the 2-foot deep Gulf of Mexico on the Mississippi coast. The brown or clearish reddish water, eating freshly caught fish, raw or cooked off the bone, checking the plethora of fascinating shopping of all stripes that I might like, from old and vintage antique to the freshest high grade that was this weird industrial gnarly oil harvesting spot in the ocean. Is also a great place for me to meditate in the sea, because if there are no storms, the fear that keeps a lot from visiting here. There are no storms going on. It is very flat and relaxing out there. And aside from all of that, Gulfport is also a sun sign Leo. A happy birthday to anyone in the local region around me who hears this, who identifies as a resident of Gulfport their whole life, or they're never going to leave, or maybe they just transplant. Mississippi is an Ophiuchus or Sagittarius. Most of the men seem to have long hair or beards around here. Long hair and or beards. People don't give me shit nearly as often as on the coast, honestly. Like, people give me shit, but I mean, like on the road, but not very. Really not very nearly as often. Seeing a person with the level of income or poverty that they might perceive that I have is just a normal thing here. It's not like something worth harassing to the people here, and and it has this place has its ugliness and drawbacks and its beautiful attributes. The poverty of this state is immense and quite a contrast to the issues you have of the Western states with their ridiculous manifest destiny rent laws, rent locks. Wherever you look, west of the Mississippi, you go into the mountains of Colorado, you go into even Arizona, let alone California, you find that, well, the cost of rent and gas and property taxes quadruple or whatever, what it is here. So it's really quite like taking a step back in time, taking it. It's as if, I mean, for everything besides, I guess, the cost of cannabis, because that's a fledgling thing here, but although it's growing quickly, you might pay more for cannabis here, but or food, the same amount for food as somewhere else. But beside those things, it's wow, it's so different. So really, wherever you look, there are many narcissist, self-styled player characters who are not really alive. Unfortunately, they just copied some idea of what they think it means to be alive. They copied some archetype, some plan. Maybe some of them have minimal amounts of life. But yet they're trying to boss you around. When I say narcissist player character, this is really you could say a combination of as if it wasn't confusing enough, a combination of the archetypes of non-player character and a narcissist personality disordered person, because there's people in the middle who are, are in between. But they're still going to try to tell you what to do. And if you awaken, however, sooner or later, you'll notice that, lightning bolt, inner perspective, light bulb inner perspective. I must peacefully and respectfully honor myself. Honor thyself. Honor life. Live my dream, even if my hair is dropping. Water while I record a video. It was one of those strange days that I had to turn around. Even live my dream even a little. The narc player will revolt and triangulate, gaslight, make up horrible things and make up all kinds of shit about you or forget you exist. All of these are common. Again, especially if they took all their different, they went back and took more and more. Destroy your boundaries, psychically and physically, even if you really piss them off. Or even if the archon within them that dominates them most of the day long, that insist that they get up in your grill, literally, physically. Or at least get that little thread of serious doubt into your mind. I mean, this is one of the most important things, to get that little thread of doubt. Because you see, somebody, no matter how high they are on the scale, the higher they are on the scale of narcissistic personality disorder, or someone that you could say was a non-player character, they really don't have any feeling. That ugly, ugly hole starts to become apparent in your mind. The more you take what they say seriously, that ugly, ugly hole starts to form in your own mind if you're empathic and you take it on, take their energy, take their archons in you. Because as you might know, it is a fully untrue to say the narcissist player characters, the NPD, NPC, or NPE, narcissistic predator entities, is cocky, arrogant, and full of self-love. That's just what they want you to think. In actuality, all of that is an inverted perverse show, a stage play, an attempt at harvesting your energy from a pseudo-chameleon who oftentimes is not even believing themselves fully, although they became really good at their con. Sometimes, some of them. Actually, the person higher on the scale of NPD or CNPD, NPC or NPE feels nothing but a black hole on the inside. A black, just nothing. Just feel emptiness, death, depression, dead. Inert, without blood. Without blood, how could we possibly think that a vampire can live forever? Well, Hollywood seeded this thought into the collective, right? But without blood, how's that possible? Well, similarly, without psychic energy to suck off, or it could be other kinds of energy, loose or narcissistic supply, the NP whatevers cannot feed. The harvesting cannot occur. If you do not take the poison arrow or eat the rotten apple he presents you, the love bomb with the poison in it, the mold cannot take hold. If I had remembered old Don Miguel Ruiz today when I was talking to this good-looking, rude, NP, narcissistic player character, if I had remembered old Don Miguel Ruiz, I might have figured out how to deal with that, with the Greyhound Corporation today and their employees. Again, with tremendous self-forgiveness, knowing I have the Mercury and all these planets retrograde, knowing the Archons, knowing that most of the outer planets are all retrograde right now, and not taking that personally takes a lot of work. Shadow work in the moment, if you will. Again, with tremendous self-forgiveness, I don't have to take or give. I don't have to take or give no shit. I don't have to take or give the stupid shit of the Archons, but to fully awaken and remove them from trying their sucking and like disappearing acts and accident acts and trying to make us all suck as much as they can. It takes a lot of effort, and tremendous amount of effort often. Some moments, you really have to work at this. It's not a joke. It's not easy. However, with practice makes you get better. You can easily learn to see, at least, these fools coming from a mile down the road, and ideally steer clear of their immensely draining and boring bullshit, especially if you consider they have no creativity. So why should you listen to someone who doesn't even have any creativity, yet they will try to create you as one who sucks, or even some does exactly whatever decent shit they do. Or conversely, I remember one time, before I really realized this guy was higher on the scale or was even thinking about it, this guy that, he lives in a van, so separated from his wife and children, so he's got I knew he had his issues, but he was how do you call it, rinsing and watering and smushing and preparing the bubble, and I said I'd like to learn how to do that, and he abruptly said I don't have time to teach. And so yeah, it's just goes either way. Like, and another one was the person I helped out at the market. I was that never led to anything, because what you'll find is with these people is that even if they're lower, but especially if they're higher on the scale of NPD or CNPD, but lower on the scale even, is that they have to be better than you. They're always going to have to be better than you. They're always going to have to be superior. They're always going to have to be your little baby and your mommy, and vice versa. You dual mothering, as Sam Vaknin calls it. It's sick. It's just a sick relationship. I just stay away from these people if you can, but they're always telling you what to do, and it's going to be, you got to do exactly what 96% of the time, maybe, like, you got to do exactly the same thing that they're doing. They always they can't even get their head out of their ass enough to think that maybe you need to do something different than them. I mean, and so, anyway, if I was a good parent, I would hopefully, you think about each child differently. If you have more than one, or even just one, what does this child want? What does this, or your friend, or your parents, or whoever it is that. But the narcissist player character is giving you this endless stream of bullshit advice, because they don't really often know themselves, and they certainly don't care about you enough to figure what you really need to do. Or they think that love is worry, and they're so worried about you, and they want to control you so much, and they're so worried that they're just going to keep spewing this stuff out, right? So they will try to create you as one who sucks, or even some does exactly what decent kind of shit they do. We all inherently teach what we do, obviously, but this type is so vain. The head is shoved so far up the ass, it is taken for granted. They are God slaves, and you must be a God slave exactly like them. Above all, accept mighty loser for the master, that separates us all from our highest selves. These self-styled players simply fall limp, just like their master Lucifer. They fall limp and lifeless with no one to suck on. Don't be fooled. Be aware. Dare to care, to be calm, and free yourself if you can. I mean, this is the only way it's going to happen. No one's coming to save you. Free yourself from these jerks if you have the courage to. And of course, if you're what dear Anika calls a soul traveler, do your best to create a beautiful or even great life or moment wherever you are, or in your room, in your tent, your car, your teepee, your cave, or wherever you reside, in your castle, wherever it is, walking down the road. Choose to respect the original creator and understand the adversary is very powerful, but it is you who has the choice into how you will respond, into the attitude you will take toward this grand experiment. And can you align with the original and future version, which is more free will and natural law? Or will you align with the criminal's justice system? Will you align with the fallen world of the plutocrats and their sick and twisted inverted takeover scams? Or will you choose to respect your soul?